Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
Go back to hell! St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience. It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate, the rise of the Antichrist, which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
Okay, welcome back for another week of Unturned Pages. We're back. We're ready. Are you awake, Russ?
I am awake, probably more than you are.
I'm awake, but my eyes, I was cleaning all day, so I got dust in them, and now they're irritated. So if I keep rubbing my eyes, that's why. It's because they're all red and dusty. So that's why I keep rubbing my eyes. But we had fun last weekend in Gettysburg.
Yes, we did.
Russ got me with Pennywise after being told that he forgot it at home.
Of course. I mean, how can I not, though? I mean, that's with anybody from Gettysburg, they know I always bring Pennywise. But I played it up to everybody that was there too, that I did not bring it, that forgot it. So
payback's coming is all I have to say. Payback.
I don't know what kind of payback that's going to be, but you can try.
I'll try. Best
of luck to you.
So this week we have Rich Valdes, who was just on the Legions of Exorcists show on Travel Channel. He's been a good friend of mine for too many years to even count now. So I'm super excited to bring him back on the show. He was on earlier this year to talk about the intro of demonology. He couldn't talk about the show at the time, so this episode will just be talking about the show and demonology and what his experience was being on the show. So let's bring him on. Hello.
Hi, Jenny. Hi,
Hi.
Russ.
How are we doing, Mr. Valdes?
I'm doing.
Well, that's good.
Surviving.
You're surviving.
So how did this? I unfortunately have not been able to watch Legion of Exorcists yet. My cable service that I have does not have Travel Channel on it, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to watch it.
You can watch it on HBO or actually Max or Discovery Plus streaming services.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to. I don't have Discovery Plus anymore, but I'll have to watch it on Max. I have Max, so. How were you? What did you think about this being approached with this type of show?
I thought it was very, very different. Reason being because it was not supposed to be considered paranormal, although my story was the only one that had paranormal in it. They wanted this to be approached through a theological standpoint, theological point of view from individuals that are have been in the ministry for many years, have studied theology, and instead of going about it the way it has for so many years. I've lost count. I've grown tired of hearing so many paranormal teams screaming demon all the time. I've always said, what if it's not a demon? What if it's something else altogether? And as far as I'm concerned, that's, I believe, the reason that Travel Channel decided to go down that path, because they wanted to give the perspective from an actual theological point of view instead of the paranormal point of view.
Okay. All right. And you worked with, I believe I saw 6, 7 people.
Well, we were all 6 together. So
okay.
I bet the only ones that I've worked with there actually have been just Bishop Long, whom I've worked with for 13 years. But everyone else on the cast, Sean, Scott, Rita, and Donnie, I had not met until a Zoom meeting a week before we had to drive. Well, I had to drive to California with Jen, and then we actually physically met for the first time at the hotel, and that was the first time we had met. It was great seeing Bishop Long. It had been a minute since I had seen Bishop Long, and from the last time I had seen Bishop Long, he was like way up there in the upper 300s, and he had dropped down to I'd have to say 210 and dropping more and more. I mean, he looks great. Hey, he's older than I am, and he does 5-6 miles a day walking.
Now, do you think, I mean, I get the whole eating right, working out, everything like that, but do you think possibly that the weight loss was possibly an effect of the case that he had done?
No.
Okay.
He had I forgot the name of the procedure, but it's where they put a sleeve.
Gastric bypass.
Yeah. He had that done. He had to for health reasons.
Yep.
Oh, look, there's Jenny and I, and there's a Bishop many hundreds of pounds ago. Kat Lang off to the right, and Jenny and her husband. Well, at that time, he wasn't your husband.
He was fiance
at the time. I think. So yeah, that was.
I was just about to be fiance.
That was in Mid-South.
Yeah, 2013.
Wow.
So let's just clear this question up real quick and in a hurry, just to get it out there. I believe we discussed this prior when last time you were on the show.
Right.
But what do you think of all the fly-by-night demonologists, quote unquote?
Oh, let's go into this chat again.
Oh boy, right into it, huh?
Right?
Okay.
Well, I mean, we might as well clear it up, and we'll get you into the show, because I'm seeing a correlation here of these people that are going to watch this show.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, I can do that. And then get themselves into a whole heap of trouble.
A little background as to what I've had to go through. And I started back 1988. That's when I first started training underneath an actual pastor in an actual church. Okay. Everyone say it with me. Church. Okay. And unfortunately, that training only lasted 2.5 years, and he passed away, Pastor Frank Marzullo. And for a few years there, I just studied what he had left me with until I actually hooked up with another church, brought my credentials. They were able to actually accommodate me and finish my training. Collectively with the second church, and then later on 2010 to 2015, I finished my studies with Bishop James Long as a demonologist. So for the first 4.5 somewhat years like that, I actually finished my demonology Christian non-denominational training. So I was recognized by their church, the second church, and then to learn what the Catholic side of things teach, I went ahead and started, training with Bishop James Long, and that took a minute. But that's something else. So you could say like 9.5 years of formal training, but 35, 36 years of actual application of demonology. And you can't just go out there and say, oh, well, I've seen the show, now I can do this.
Yeah.
No, that's not how this works. Every individual that you see in front of you has actual years of theology study. I still study to this very day. I have a plethora of books that I have collected over the years, to the extent that I've had to actually put them away in boxes because you won't have any room to walk around. And I'm still collecting. And I know, we're in the age where you can download a book,
Download
but
them.
I prefer pages. I'm the kind that I prefer to go to page.
I'm the same way. I get lost in the digital platform way too easy.
And I'm one of those that I can read 3 books at the same time. I leave off on one chapter, move on to the next chapter in the next book, and then so on. And I keep going that way because I need to, I guess it's part of my ADHD, but at the same time, it's also part of the fact that I absorb so quickly when it comes to the subject matter of theology, demonology. And it's just not the study of, people think it's just biblical studies. It's not just biblical studies. It's every religious faith and belief that's out there. You have to study so many things because one may be some people call them demons, some people call them fallen angels, and to me they're both one and the same. But what's the one common denominator? God created them, because at one time they were angels. Now we call them demons. It doesn't mean that they weren't created by God. So I've always stated everything does come from God, one way or the other.
Now, a quick side note there on that one is you say you've studied several different religions, whether it be non-denominational Christianity, Catholicism, things like that. As paranormal investigators, especially when you go in and do house cleansings and things like that, you have to be versed in all different types of religion, because of the simple fact of it is, if you're dealing with a Christian family, a Catholic family may not have the same stick to it.
Correct.
So, we kind of study a little bit. We actually did a case for a few years ago. It was actually a Hindi family.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably one of the hardest cases, because I actually had to bring somebody in that was actually fluent in Hindi. And it was kind of, that was hard trying to find it. But how does the church recognize a demonologist? Like what gives you that title to where the church officially recognizes you as a demonologist, as an exorcist, as however they classify it? For the record, I'm not an exorcist. I am trained to actually do deliverance when it comes to non-denominational Christian religion. I could in a crunch, and I have, but it's not an exorcism. There's a huge difference. An exorcism is the minor and solemn rite, and that is reserved specifically for the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. Bishop James Long, who is of the Catholic Church, and anyone else that's a priest or you have to be priest, bishop, and so on. The Pope would be the biggest. But if you're a deacon, you can't be doing it. If you're beneath a deacon, which is where I would be lay, which is a demonologist, I would not, under a case that is sanctioned under the United States Old Catholic Church, be able to do a minor or solemn rite of exorcism. But if I were in a situation and the family happened to be Christian, okay, and they were comfortable with Christianity, I can do an actual deliverance of either the area or the person. I am trained to do that, but I would still have to check with my boss, which in this case would be Bishop James Long. When it comes to other denominations, be it Hindu, be it Buddhist, be it Native American, whatever you may throw at me, you have to go. And this is something that a lot of people will say, well, you're already trained to do some of the stuff. Why don't you do it? I can't do that. Yeah, I have to actually, because you have to be respectful of that family and their faith. Mm-hmm. You have to find other people. This is why the paranormal clergy was created by Bishop James Long so many years ago. We're talking back 21 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say a long time ago.
Yeah, that was his reason, paranormal clergy. But we have Willie Windwalker, who's part of the paranormal clergy, and everyone knows he's a Native American shaman. We have even he asked not to mention his name, but he is Christian, but he's Lutheran. So their way of doing things are different.
It's very different. Yeah,
it's extremely different. So we try to actually have everyone that can cover any and all faiths, just in case. But the one other, once again, I use the word, I guess the word for the day is common denominator, is that paranormal does not mix with clergy.
no.
But paranormal should and clergy should actually work together in situations where it calls for actual clergy stepping in if it's something that's inhuman and should be handled by said individuals. When it comes to paranormal, if they go in and they find that there's really nothing demonic and they send us the information, clergy, and we look through that information and we decide, no, there's nothing here that I would consider to be demonic, they pretty much take over from there and just work with the family. That's why we're very responsible with the teams that we have.
And I know, like, the paranormal clergy has a mental health specialist now, which is really great because she'll go in and
Leslie Cody. Leslie Cody is awesome. She's also a demonologist as well, trained by myself and recognized by the United States Old Catholic Church. So it's kind of like I call it the Swiss Army effect, Swiss Army knife effect. She's a demonologist, but she's also a therapist, psychologist, mental health, professional. At the same time, I've been doing the paranormal, as Jenny knows this, for many, many years, actually longer than I've been a demonologist. But in case I have to put the demonologist cap on, I'm also trained in doing that too.
Yeah. So if people didn't catch the first episode, what are the 3 stages of a demonic case?
Okay, well, there's actually 4, and some people will say there's infestation, oppression, possession. I will always say there's infestation, oppression, possession, obsession being the 4th, because once that person has that foreign entity removed from them, what happens is they actually start they start feeling like they're missing something that's been with them for so long, knows their moves. They feel like there's something missing, so they start obsessing over it. They start saying, I feel empty inside. This is why there's an actual biblical scripture in there that states that once a demon is cast out, it goes on to dry places seeking refuge, but it can't find any. It comes back to its host and it sees that it's been clean, it's been swept. So then it comes back with 7 more wicked than it to take over again. And I've had situations where I've helped clergy out because I can't do an exorcism, but I can actually assist, or have done deliverances where people have said 2-3 weeks later, they're like, Rich, I think it's back and it's worse than it was before. Yeah, because it's supposed to come back with 7 more wicked than it. So imagine it's going to be worse. So it could be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah. Let's see. Somebody asked a question. Hold on one sec. Have there ever been a haunted location that's so bad that you won't go near it?
No.
So what was
put me on a hook like a worm? I don't care. I'll go in. I you know what? It's not that I'm not afraid. It's there's nothing really. I go in with caution. I don't throw caution into the wind, but I have more faith in my God than I do in anything else. If I'm meant to be there at that moment in time, I know that through prayer, I'm going to be protected. And why am I going to fear anything?
And it's more of a self-awareness as well.
Yep.
I know the parlor tricks that they can pull. I've seen it all. And to be honest with you, the hardest thing is to actually keep what's the word I'm looking for? A poker face. You have to really develop a poker face because they will try. And it's hard because the poker face can only go so far. They sense the actual energy vibration of when they strike fear into you.
Yep.
So it's
That's
like
the
a
hard
dog,
part.
they smell fear.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
Like I tell people, like when you go into a location, the spirits can sense your activity level, your fears. They know you. They can tell you right as you walk in. It's like if you're in a bad mood, they probably won't talk to you.
Well,
If
imagine if you would, Jenny. I'll throw this in as well. These are creation. These are beings that have existed long before man was even created.
Mm-hmm.
So they've seen us from the very beginning. They know how we work. They know our weaknesses. They know our strengths. We are being watched at all times, so they know all the naughty things. They're like Santa Clauses all over the place. They know our naughty list better than we do. And then when they go like that and they show it to us, we're like, oh damn, I forgot about those 40. And it's like, yeah, and they actually throw that at you, especially when a person's possessed. That knowledge actually is not them, it's not the person, it's the demon speaking through them, knowing all of this about you. And they do that to distract you and throw you off track.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so we kind of got off the rails there a little bit. So let's go back to the original question of what do you think by these fly-by-night demonologists that there's paranormal groups out there that are like, oh, we have a demonologist because they read a book.
They read a book or they attended a class.
Yeah, the best advice I can give, like I did before, and I'll say it again, is like, you know, you don't want to start a fight. You don't want to get under someone's skin. You know, just want to be like, oh, really? You're a demonologist? That's really cool. So, who mentored you?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Who mentored me? If they can't come up with a name of a person that mentored them, that's flag number one. Big red flag number one. Oh, okay. Well, what church did you affiliate with, or are you affiliated with? And they can't give you an answer. That's flag number two. And if you ask them, so how many years have you studied, under what church and under what mentor, and they give you no answer, and all they say is episodes of Supernatural, or books that they've read here and there, that doesn't count. I actually, I'd have to go and get it if you'd let me, but I actually have my certification that states I am recognized as the resident demonologist for the United States Old Catholic Church. So before anything gets to bishop, before anything gets to any of the priests, it comes to me. So those cases that come to me, I have to check out beforehand. I have to do the legwork. So if those people can't answer those questions, they're not what they are.
Run the opposite way. So, okay, since this was brought up in the chat, spirit attachments. What are your thoughts on spirit attachments?
Spirit attachments are more common than people would like to believe. But I don't think that they are as prominent in affecting our lives that much, unless illness steps in, you're having grief or situation at work, at home. I've had several situations, because since I'm like this deep in when it comes to anything that has to do with the demonic, to where my health has been affected. And my dad passed away August 2nd of 2021. And soon after that, I took off. Everything here, I'm giving you a really quick synopsis. I left here September, I think the second week of September, because everything I saw reminded me of my dad. Mm-hmm. So I went back up to Utah, And around Octoberish, I started feeling a really sharp pain here in the middle of my abdomen and to my back. It started progressively getting worse. November was when I first was reached out by Travel Channel. I got interviewed by them. They okayed me. Bishop, of course, he said, I can't think of anyone better. You need a demonologist. That's the man to go to. So
Yeah.
I had his stamp of approval as well. Before I knew it, December 17th, we started filming in California. I had an episode of that pain while I was filming. I was actually sent to the hospital. I didn't know what it was until February that they stated it was my gallbladder, but wasn't really my gallbladder. It was my pancreas causing issues with my gallbladder. Now they removed my gallbladder. A month later, the pain continued, and they had to actually put a stent to remove all the fluid that was around my pancreas. I had a Nerf football cyst around my pancreas.
Oh, wow.
But all this is happening while I should be happy. I just filmed the show. Yay, me. Yay. No. Okay. So I'm thinking this is depression. This is possibly anxiety attacks. No, this is not, because the pain, it was too much. Fast forward a year, and just 2 days before I have to actually just sit in front of my TV at home and watch the premiere of Eli Roth Presents, The Legion of Exorcists, I land in a freaking hospital with what? Pancreatitis. And then a month later, when it's time, actually over a month later, when it's time for me to watch finally my story air, my dog ends up sick with what? Pancreatitis. What are the chances? I want you to think about that. It took 6 episodes for me to actually see my story, because they could only take one of my stories. That's how, how close to the end I came in before filming. And they were only able to get one of my stories down. But what are the chances of that happening? And it's not by chance. This is their way of breaking you down. But here I am. I'm not saying I'm Mr. Tough Guy here, but I understand what I'm in. This is a calling. Let's get that out of the way. This is not something that you can just pick up one day and say, I'm going to do this. No. If you do, you're an idiot. Let me tell you, I kicked and screamed. I didn't want this. I fought this. But here I am. Why do I feel like I'm in class? Okay. Infestation, oppression, possession. You need to add at the end, obsession.
I think this is like a screenshot of somebody took from the Conjuring movie when they're in that class.
I feel like I'm in Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something like that.
Oh my god, yes. So what was your story on the show if people hadn't seen it? Can you tell us?
When Jen actually, I call it an attempted possession, because that's really what happened. And the best way there's really no way to describe it. I mean, I wish they had given the story more time to develop, because in reality, they what they did is they decided to go with 2 stories an hour. So it was someone's story the first half, and then someone else's story the second half. But the problem is that our stories are at least an hour and a half long, maybe 2, of what happened. So that somewhat limited us to how it gave us. There was a lot of the story that was edited out, unfortunately, the way that it was made. And I can tell you there was a lot more involved when it came to the attempted possession. The best way I can describe from what I experienced when I saw this was, to me, as this spirit was trying to possess Jen, imagine when you're trying to fit a glove onto your hand, okay? and that's what her body looked like. It looked like it like twitch every now and then. It looked like it was trying to fit itself inside her body. And that's when I knew, I know, so I felt something wrong with her, and I didn't know quite what. When she put on the headsets from someone that was doing EVPs in that hospital, and she heard something in there. After she took it off very, very slowly, and it's like she was dazed from that point on. And that's when I noticed that she'd like literally go back like this, and her eyes would roll back into her head, and then she'd come back and she'd just look around like she didn't even know where she was. This went on for a good 30 minutes or so before I said, "Hey everyone, gotta go. See y'all later." Took her back, and that's pretty much when we had to I had to do a deliverance prayer for her and get rid of this.
Oh wow. Interesting. But yeah, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, you only got one story, and I was like,
unfortunately, yeah, they only got one story out of me because that's all they got. I came in at the tail end of this. There were some people that were involved with this project for 3 years, and the production company had a lot of time to actually get their stories. I came in like a month and a half, so they only got one story for me, and you know, I was basically this guy the whole time, you know, and I'd say a word here and there every now and then during our roundtable discussion, but there were a few things there that, you know, I didn't feel needed my, you know, opinion. So I just keep my mouth shut.
Do you think it'll come back for a season 2, or are you hoping for a season 2?
I'm a positive thinker, and I'm waiting on the email for season 2. So I'm not going to say hoping. I'm going to say I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that email. Yes, season 2 is on. We're good to go. We be fast, they be slow. Do you know where that movie's that quote is from? What movie is that from? Anyone? We be fast, they be slow.
I can't think of it.
Remember the Titans?
No.
I know I've heard that quote. I just can't remember the movie.
Scotty Rourke would be so mad at you, Jenny.
Was it Ghostbusters?
Oh, jeez. Come on.
I can just see a text message coming from him, and he made
How
it be like,
dare you? How dare you?
I'm officially retiring.
I'm fired.
I'm hanging up the K2 and putting away the camera.
Oh my god.
No, so now that the show has been released, has anything really changed for you? I know you've made appearances on other shows prior and whatnot. But has anything really changed for you since premiering on this show?
Other than a lot more requests to be on podcasts and whatnot, not really. I know that there's an article that's going to be released in a magazine August 15th. I'm not sure if I can announce the name. I would have to actually ask my manager, Jen Richardson. Can I announce the name? Am I allowed to? I don't know. Yeah, no, maybe. But
Jen,
we're waiting on Jen. Why do I feel like you know?
Not yet.
No,
not yet. No. Yeah, but it is a magazine. It's a magazine. But yeah, it'll be August 15th. I can say that, right? I'm just not saying the magazine. But yeah, there's just a lot of requests for interviews and whatnot, and I'm enjoying that and taking whatever the universe brings my way. You know, that's all.
Well, damn it, Rich, you got the name. You got the date wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
She said the 1st of August.
Yes, you can.
It's the 1st of August? No. I was Excuse me. I beg to differ.
You have a manager for a reason.
Maybe you could announce it on August 1st. Which is my birthday, so maybe I don't know.
No.
Jenny already probably has a subscription to said magazine, anyways.
I don't know what magazine this is, but I need to find out from.
Mine says the
Oh, he's reading off
15th
his phone.
of August.
I'm just waiting for Jen to walk into the room and like.
She's in Utah. I'm in Miami. It's not going to happen.
I mean,
so, yeah.
I feel like
Now, if I'm wrong about that, then I need to know. Okay, I'm going to dock this off her pay. Jeez.
I just see Jen going like this. Oh man.
Yeah, she just rolled her eyes into the back of her head.
Oh, she's watching.
Yeah, I know.
She's taking notes.
Just wait till you go back to Utah. You'll hear about it.
I'll be heading back to Utah. Definitely. Well, let's say the second week, maybe the second week or into the third week of September, because I want to be there for our little girl's parent-teacher meeting, and it's already bad enough that I'll be missing her first day of school. So
is she in kindergarten now? No, she can't be.
She's going to be going to kindergarten. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yep, River's the same age. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They're the same age.
So
one of these days, we'll get together.
I know. We keep missing each other. It's
like every time I go to Florida,
you go up, I go down, and it's like, never mind.
And then every time I'm in Utah, you're in the hospital or back in Florida.
Yeah.
Every time.
Rich, you need to come to the Battlefield Bash next year.
Yes.
You know what? Ask them if they'll ask me to come on or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
I can definitely reach out to Pam and Steve. I mean, it would definitely be awesome to have you there.
See if they can get the whole crew there. Bishop Long, Scott, get Rita in there and Sean and Donnie and myself.
Well, it's all a charity event. So we donated this year to 3 charities. We did the Wounded Warriors of PA. We did Heroes for Hire, which takes care of terminally ill children. And also Diana's Pink Wishes, which actually donates toys to children that either they or their family are going through a cancer diagnosis.
Oh, wow. That's a good cause.
And
I have to say,
this year, I'm proud to say, $20,000 raised.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and they have a bunch of fun stuff.
I wasn't expecting it. Like, I went this year for the first time, and let's just say it's one of the best events that you can go to.
I've always heard good things about Gettysburg. Definitely.
And Pam and Steve are great hosts, and it's just this past bash was as they said, it was a weekend of hope and healing.
Yep.
Good.
And we definitely did a lot of healing. It was everybody knocks me on the whole thing of parent unity. And this past weekend, we had a gentleman that actually is from Maine that snapped his rear tie rod once he got into Gettysburg.
Yep.
Out of a freak incident, we had a microburst tornado hit the back patio of Gettysburg and destroyed his tent. He had a 10 by 20 tent that still had merchandise in it. So it destroyed his tent, destroyed his merchandise.
Oh, wow.
Everything, as well as he was dealing with his vehicle issues.
Yeah.
The bash, out of no one's prompting or anything like that, came together and raised over $1,000 for him to help him get the car fixed, replace his tent, everything like that. So, I mean, that was a surefire showing of what family and para-unity actually is.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, definitely. It was one big para family there, that's for sure.
Let's just say I'm a hopeful for Power Unity. I've yet to see it, but when you do see it in situations like this, it kind of raises your hopes a bit. And then someone comes along and ruins it, and then you're like, oh, okay, thanks. But I'm a consummate believer that it can be done. It just depends on the people and where their heart is coming from. And if they have an end game, it's an unfortunate thing. Some people will actually make it seem like they do care. See, I gave, but you know, one of the things that I remember, you know, I told one event that they had asked me to go on, and I said, look, don't worry about my appearance fee. Worry about just getting me there in a hotel, and we're good to go. Get me a table and chair, and we're good. I'll even do a speaking engagement because it's for a cause. So why am I going to take more money away from what they're trying to raise money for? And I've seen a lot of individuals, not going to name names, that actually go ahead and still charge an appearance fee. I'm like, I mean, this is for charity, dude. You know, let that go. But Jenny knows me better than anybody else here. You know, I on my own dime and with Bishop Long, you know, not saying Bishop Long, it's his fault or anything. No. You know, Bishop Long has had the paranormal clergy on for years, and this was something that was done because out of my money, Cat Lang's money, and Bishop's, to put a table there, to have a booth, and have people come to us and have Bishop bless whatever they wanted blessed. You know, that's all it was. And as far as I'm concerned, if that's what it takes, so be it.
This was my 6th year at Gettysburg this year, and I've spoke at every bash that they've had, and I've done this all on my own dime. I've never asked for a hotel. I've never asked for travel. I've never asked for anything, and I do it because I believe in their goal of what they're doing and what their charity is. And it's one of those things that just it makes you realize when you step back and look at it, like, yeah, I spent $400 or $500, but what impact are you making?
How hot was it? Out of curiosity, how hot was it
in Gettysburg?
Yeah.
Oh, Jenny, I'm surprised you come out.
Wednesday. No, was it? No, it was Thursday because you got into town on Thursday. It was, I want to say 94, 95. When my mom and me looked at each other and were like, we ain't walking the battlefield. We're going to get on one of the tour buses with the AC.
Yep.
And drive around the battlefield. We ain't walking around.
I did the AC tour too. Just got in the car and just drove around with the AC blasting.
Yeah. Because we did
kind of felt like I was in Jurassic Park going to your left. We have the T-Rex. To the right.
Yeah. Well, we went to the to the cemeteries first, and we walked around there for like a half an hour. I'm like, nope, not doing this all day. And I was like waiting for Wes to text me that he was in town, and he never did. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on the tour bus. And by the time the tour bus gets back was like 5:30. I'm like, okay, he has to be at the hotel by now. So
Suzanne made a comment in the chat room saying that her friend Scotty Burns was at the bash.
Yes. Wasn't he next to Mary?
She.
Oh, she.
Scotty is an amazing woman. I met her last year or 2 years ago, and we instantly clicked. She keeps telling me I need to come down to Florida.
I want to go to Florida, but
Florida's good for beaches, and it's good for Disney World, and also the springs. The springs are 72 degrees all the time. It's not hot springs.
I am a white Irish man, ginger. I don't do heat or sun.
You know, I think you guys saw the pictures of me last year when I went to Florida to Disney World. Within like an hour and a half, I was beet red on my shoulders, on my chest, on my back. I'm like, yep, this is what I get for coming to Minnesota, to Florida, right as ghost.
Hey,
Leaving
Jenny,
as a
that's what
red
sunscreen's
lobster.
for.
Yeah, I don't do sunscreen.
Well, then
You know,
it's
they
great.
have the spray
Yeah.
sunscreen, you know.
I didn't do that, but I went very quickly in Florida. You have to do that.
Yeah.
Even in October, you have to do that.
You know, when you drive in from Georgia into Florida and it says "Welcome to Florida" and it says "Buy sunscreen" underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't drive into Florida, so I didn't see that sign. They don't have that sign in the air when you fly into Florida to say "Buy sunscreen." But now I know.
It's more of a PSA than it is a slogan.
And by the way, I noticed Patrick Scott is in the chat, and
Yep.
Yes.
I hope the advice I gave him helped. He had reached out to me a few weeks ago, and I'm hoping it worked.
Good.
So,
I know he was
We'll
talking.
see.
He's up in I cannot pronounce that city in Wisconsin, but it's up by Sheboygan. Yeah,
Sheboygan.
It's a city over. I'll be there in September for the Great Lakes Paracon, whatever you want to call it. So maybe he'll come out to that, and I'll meet him there. But I'll be there in September, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to go to the asylum too, but we'll see.
So many asylums. Why do people want to go into asylums when people are trying to fight to get out of there?
I know.
You know.
But this place is supposed to be one of the most haunted places. So you know me, I like haunted places. So.
I know. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like at Gettysburg, there was a investigation to Wildwood Sanitarium that's up in northern.
It's upstate New York.
Upstate New York. I won that one. So, and then Shane Pittman and Josh from the Searchers threw in that they would come. Whoever won that investigation they would join for free. They would come and join. So I won that. So I'm super excited to go to Wildwood Sanatorium. It's supposed to be really an active place. So
you and Mom have been making your rounds.
Yep, and my mom's already planning for that trip next year. We're planning on maybe doing Hinsdale, which is, to me, I want to do, but at the same time, I don't want to do because I had that attachment from Hinsdale from someone. So it's like part of me is like, do I want to go?
You need to start protecting yourself.
Oh, trust me, Scotty Work kicked me in the ass in 2013 about that.
Yeah, and it still hasn't worked. It's 2023.
Hey!
Yeah, 10 years later. What have you learned?
This attachment happened in 2012.
And you owned a metaphysical shop.
No,
if anything for protection.
Not in 2012, I didn't.
No, not then, but you do now. So why not protect yourself now? Well, no, not anymore. But yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you will be getting that back, by the way. You'll be getting that store back. Mark my words. It's just not now. You guys need a break.
Now. Yep.
Yes.
Need a break. Need to focus on getting rid of her services she needs and focusing on other things. Let the economy kind of get back to where it should be, and then find a overall good location. But yeah, it's not dying. Nope. Because I told my mom when she dies, that's
don't say that about Mom.
I said when she does. When she's like 99, okay? That will be my store.
Bonnie, I'm on a plane to Minnesota to come kick her in the ass.
Hey, I said when she's like 99, okay?
You didn't lead off with that.
When she has another like 40 years, okay? 35.
30? No, let's come on.
Okay, whenever she does.
You may send her to an early grave dealing with your shit.
No, it's not me now. It's River causing that. Not me. Nope, I'm all good. I'm an angel. Remember, I have a halo.
Wait, you mean the halo that's held up by your horns?
Yep.
No, I don't have horns. See, I have a halo. See? I will be taking over Enchanted Boutique / Enchanted Awakenings. So, see.
Your mom's calling
Your
you now.
mom. I'm not gonna steal. P.S.
But yeah, and then
So,
when
so
I
Rich,
pass,
what's coming up for you next?
Honestly, I'm booked for a lot of interviews. But
yay.
other than that, I'm also getting another idea ready for a show that I want to pitch to the network. And once I have that down, I'm gonna copyright it,
Yeah,
pitch
copyright
it,
it.
and then definitely, have it in front of them, and they'll have to go, okay,
Let's do it.
you got it. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, it's something that's never really been done, and it needs to be done. And I think it would actually bring a lot of people together. That's the only hint I'll give.
Well, if you ever need if you ever need a ginger from Boston, I mean, I'm available.
Or, me.
With a fantastic beard just like yours.
Yeah.
You guys can have a competition. Who's going to grow their beard the longest?
Do you condition your beard?
I do. Beard oil, condition it, everything.
All right.
I take care of this beauty.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, you do. But oh no, I can't think of what I was going to ask. What is your podcast? Are you still doing your podcast?
Still doing. We're taking a little break. We will be back towards the end of August. Greetings from Beyond Radio. Find us on YouTube or on Facebook, and anyone can follow me on my fan page on Facebook. And also, I always forget the name of. That's why I'm hoping Jen is still here. But Rich Valdes, demonologist Rich Valdes, I believe that's the name of it on the fan page in Facebook, and also the real Rich Valdes with the underscores in between on Instagram as well. But I'm constantly posting. I'm always keeping in touch with everyone, and I keep in touch with everything you're doing too, Jenny.
Oh yeah, it's everything Rich Valdes, demonologist.
There you go. Everything. You see, I don't even know my own fan page. I mean, I know how to get on there, but it is what it is.
There's the link.
Thank you.
See, you just posted your IG.
Jenny's got my 9.
Yes, Rich follows me on Facebook. He called me out one day and told me to shut my mouth.
Yeah, because you were about to
explode on Facebook, and it would have been
pretty. Just leave it be. That's why I told you, talk to me. You got my number, just talk. You don't gotta be spreading dirty laundry out there. It looks bad.
Do you know how many times I've gotten a message from Jenny going, I'm about to lose my shit? And I'm just like, step back, take a breath. What's going on?
Russ, you know what the problem is? It's really not a problem. Jenny's got a heart of gold.
Oh, she does.
As long as I've known her, she's an incredible, beautiful woman inside and out. And as far as I'm concerned, she needs to realize that oftentimes, it's not a good idea to just be throwing names out there. And, there's something called, lawsuits and people.
Hey, I wasn't going to put names out.
I didn't know that. You were making it seem like you were going to, the truth will be coming out soon. And I was like, oh God, that means names are coming soon. So I was like,
but
you shouldn't be doing this here.
I wasn't gonna put names out, but everyone that I know personally here in Minnesota would have known who it was.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you just told me and leave it at that. We're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. All right. Because you know what, it's not. Sometimes you just need someone to bounce this off of, and that's all.
Yep.
Someone from Manchester, England. Wow. Welcome.
What
and they
time
just
is
said
it
never
there?
trust a man with a beard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what though? Thing about it is, like I just commented in there, a man with a beard has patience.
Yeah, more patience than I would ever.
What he
have.
said.
Has patience that can withstand anything.
Yes. Yeah. I that's what I talked to you that one day for like how long did we talk? Like 45 minutes?
45
No?
minutes, give or take. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always said it's a healthy thing to get everything out, but
It
as
is.
long as you do it in private. So yeah, that's basically it. Just a lot of interviews, working on a new concept for a show. And Jen has already put the information out there. If people want to, invite me on to any conventions or anything like that, contact her. And we'll get to working on that. But in the meantime, I'm like super duper busy. I mean, every time I think, okay, I got like 4 interviews, and then all of a sudden I look again, I'm like, it's like Trouble with Tribbles from Star Trek. Now I got 8.
Now you have 12. Now you have 15.
Don't expose them to water. Don't feed them after midnight.
No, that's Gremlins.
I know it's gremlins, but they multiply a lot quicker than tribbles.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
That is very true.
No, Rich, I'll have to get a hold of you for my show that I do on Monday nights.
For sure. See,
Yeah.
it already happened. I added water in my mouth. He already wants me for his show on Mondays. All right.
Hey, I didn't say tomorrow. I meant I'll book you later on when it works for you.
That works. Just let me know.
But no, but thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Plug the show again real quick, where everybody can watch it if they haven't watched it yet.
Discovery Plus, and if you don't get Discovery Plus, go to Max, which used to be HBO Max. It's now Max, and just put in Eli Roth Presents the Legion of Exorcists, and you'll find all 6 shows already there.
And it's a really good show, so I highly suggest everyone to go watch it because it's not something that we typically have on the show on Paranormal.
And please remember, it's not through the paranormal lens; it's through a theological lens. The church gets a lot more cases that are demonic than paranormal teams do.
Now we got 1 minute left here in the show. What? It's a 2-part question.
Oh, jeez.
No, it's a 2-part question. Have you seen an uptick since COVID in reports to the church of quote unquote demonic possessions or oppressions or things like that? And part 2, have you seen, because I believe the Catholic Church released a statement saying that there have been like a 30% increase in reported cases of possession.
There has been an uptick, but also the one statistic that has not been let out is how many of them is just mental illness. And that's something that we always need to take under consideration. So yes, there's been an inundation of a lot of cases and an uptick, as you stated earlier, but oftentimes it's mental illness, and that needs to be pointed out as well. But there have been a few more than often. Yes.
Okay. And that's one of the big things. And I want to state this really quick before we get off the air here. Mental illness, whether it be men, women, anything it may be, it is so important to treat that and talk to somebody. It is a real thing. I've suffered with it myself, and I know I'm not the only one out there that has. And, it's one of those things that it's, and I hate to say it this way, it's a silent killer.
It is. It is.
And, especially for men, no offense, Jenny, but especially for men, showing emotion is not manly. Showing, things like that, having mental issues, because we're supposed to be the strong ones. We're supposed to be the resilient ones. And you know what? There are more men that deal with mental illness and depression than there are women. And I'm not trying to take anything away from you guys, Jenny, but I mean, it's, I've read clinical studies. I've read a lot of things because like I said, I also deal with mental illness, and whether it be depression, anxiety, things like that. But please reach out to anyone, reach out to me, reach out to Jenny, reach out to Rich. I mean, reach out to anyone that'll talk to you. I'll be an open ear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when it comes to being on your show, Russ, reach out to Jen, and she'll work you into the schedule.
Fantastic.
And we'll go from
I'm
there,
open.
right?
I'll work with you whenever. We can do a pre-recorded. We can do a live. We can do whatever you want to do.
I prefer lives, but I don't care if we got to do pre-recorded. We'll do that too. I'm flexible too.
All right, Jenny, you want to take us out and next guest next week?
Yes, next week is Dan Class of the Hinsdale House. We'll be talking about the Hinsdale House, the hauntings there, his work on Nick Groff's Deathwalker, and various other shows he's been working on. And then tomorrow night, join Russ on his show, Compass of Curiosities, with Ernie Pack of Fort Duffield. They'll be talking about that historic fort in West Point, Kentucky. So join them tomorrow night at 9:05 Eastern, 8 p.m. whatever Central Time on Legit Paranormal.
Your mom is saying, and do you want to mention the surprise coming up?
I don't know what surprise we're talking about.
Can we release that yet, Jenny? Or
What surprise are we talking about?
Are we booked in solid for that one?
No, not that. No. We can't talk about that surprise yet.
Okay.
We'll jinx it. You'll jinx it.
Yeah, we're not jinxing it because I'm working my ass off on getting that booked.
Okay.
That's not a for sure thing yet. And if
not yet, but if it's right there.
It's right there, and if I have to wait until August to kick some butts,
August is literally 2 weeks away, a week away.
Okay, I will see these people in a month. So hopefully in a month I'll have confirmed dates and we can release them and I can be very, very happy because I've been working my butts off for this.
The only thing I can say is some big people are coming on that have made some waves.
Yes.
And not in a bad way. But
we don't want
send them our way too, Jenny. We're always looking for new guests.
Okay. I don't know how we'll be able to do it, but we can do it.
Hey.
I'll message you on who it is.
Oh, please, by all means. You got my number.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for
thank you all
on another episode of Turn in next week. Daniel Clace of Hinsdale House. Thank you again so much, Rich Valdes, for coming on.
Bye, Mama Gurney.
All right, everyone, have a great night. We'll see you all next Sunday.